Hello my beautiful book besties and welcome to another video. Today we are going to be chatting about the 6/7 books that I read in the month of February. I'm gonna tell you what I thought about them and if I think you should read them. Today is February 25th, so we have 4 more days in the month for me to finish some of these books that I'm in the middle of reading. Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, The Words We Lost by Nicole Deasy, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, and Rhapsodic by Laura Thalassa. And also I'm almost done. I'm like 90% through Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson, so that one will for sure be finished. It's probably gonna be like a 4.5 star. I'm really enjoying that one and it is my favorite out of the trilogy so far. But other than that, let's talk about the books that I have finished in February and what I thought of them. So in the month of February so far, I have read 6 books, 3 of which are fantasy and 3 are romance. So the first book that I finished in February was The Heart of Betrayal, which is the second book in the Remnant Chronicles trilogy. I gave it a 4 star. I loved the ending of it. The ending was like, okay, now I'm getting into the trilogy. I brought it from like a 3 or 3.5 star up to a 4 star just because I really enjoyed the ending of that one. But it's about a princess who essentially runs away from her kingdom because she does not want to go through with the arranged marriage that her family has planned for her. She just wants to make her own choices. She wants to be in control over her own life and not just do whatever the kingdom wants her to do. So her and her best friend end up running off to this cozy small town where they become waitresses and are just like, yeah, I'm gonna be the queen of my own life. But the prince that she was supposed to marry and also an assassin from a rival kingdom come to this small town. The assassin is supposed to kill her and the prince just wants to get to know her and is like, hey, why did you run away and cause all of this turmoil in both of our kingdoms? Like, is there a reason? So in the second book, they're going from one kingdom to another. So there's a lot of traveling. You get to know the characters a little bit more and how the world operates a little bit more. I really enjoyed it. There is no spice and I gave it 4 stars. Next, I read Our Infinite Fates by Laura Steven. This was an arc that I got from Nightingale and I was so excited for this one because at the start of it, it was giving 5-star feels. I was like, I need to put my life on hold and just sit and read this book. Her writing enamored me and I just wanted to figure out what was gonna happen. So before the female main character turns 18, her love or her rival, she is not exactly sure because every new life she kind of loses the old memories that she has. He comes to kill her before they turn 18. It's like a cat and mouse kind of thing, but there is a mystery aspect to it of why this keeps happening. But I didn't end up enjoying it, which really upsets me because I loved her writing. It was the story itself that I didn't enjoy. So I will read her future books just because I loved her prose, but I think this specific story just wasn't for me. So I ended up giving it a 2.75. My problem with it was I feel like since they got new bodies, new genders, new families, and new locations in every lifetime, it made it really hard to connect with the characters because they didn't even know where they came from or like what is going on. So that I feel like kind of took away from the story a little bit for me because it's like, how can I root for them if we have no idea what's going on? And then once you finally do figure out what was going on, I just felt like the payout and the explanation of that I didn't love. It just didn't really make sense to me the way the book ended and the direction that it took because it was kind of giving magical realism and then at the end it tried to be like dark fantasy and I just felt like it didn't work. So unfortunately, I gave that one a 2.75. But again, if it sounds intriguing to you, give it a shot. I don't think there was spice. There was one scene and it wasn't really in description at all. Next, I started and finished this book in one day. It was so cute and so fun and so freaking funny. It had me laughing out loud numerous times. It is The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez. I got this as an Amazon first read. So if you guys don't know, Amazon puts out first reads every month where you can go through and pick, I think 1 or 2. You might get 2 picks on your first month, but if you've been doing it for a while, you get 1 pick a month where you can download a book for free. I saw this one on there by Abby Jimenez and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get that one because it's right around Valentine's Day. It is super short. It's like 80 pages and I feel like it would just be the perfect Valentine's read. So I got that one and it ended up being all of those things and I gave it a 3.75. There was no spice in this one either. I was really just caught off guard by what the story was. So essentially you have your female main character and your male main character. They kind of live like this and then there is walkway in between their 2 units and then there's stairs to go down. The construction people do construction on these stairs at the wrong condo, so they just have no stairs. Basically, they're trapped there, and that is freaking her out because she has a stalker. They kind of just get to talking about the chaos of their life. It's just really funny and really fun. So I gave it a 3.75, and I would recommend it to you guys if you just want something quick and easy to read. Next, on the same day, I ended up finishing The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. This one I had such high hopes for. It just didn't hit for me. I don't know. If I can't connect or relate to the female main character, it's going to be really hard for me to enjoy the story. Same thing with the male main character. I ended up giving this one a 3.25 and 3 spices. It was spicy. There were quite a few scenes in detail, so if you're sensitive to spice, you will have to skip over a good amount of those. The premise of this was so fun, and there were a ton of moments that were like really funny. He's rich and they ended up doing a marriage of convenience kind of thing so that they can get family housing. At first I was like, well, why does he need housing if he's rich? Like, that doesn't make any sense, but that is explained in the book. He's been making up this big elaborate lie to his family about being married so that he can get his inheritance. And so they have to go on a family wedding trip to a secluded island for a couple weeks. I don't remember the timeline exactly, but they basically are doing marriage of convenience, but they're fake dating and it's rich people drama. So I thought I was gonna love it, but unfortunately, because I didn't love the female main character and there was a lot of descriptive spice in it, I ended up giving it a 3.25. But the next book that I read, I ended up giving 4.5 stars to. It is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I'm so upset with myself for putting this book off so long. This was my book club book for February. I mentioned this in every video. If you want to join my book club on Fable, I have the link down below. It is free, and even if you don't want to read the book every month that we pick, you can just use the chat room to talk about what you're currently reading, get book recs, or just talk or whatever you want to do. So I will leave the link below if you want to join that. But our February book was Six of Crows, and this was my highest rated book of the month. I'm thinking about bumping it up to a 5-star. It didn't quite give me those 5-star feelings because it took me a while to get into the story and get into the book, but I keep thinking about the characters and they feel real to me. I love the world that it's set in. The book deserves 5 stars just for Kaz. I was obsessed with his character. All of the other side characters of the 6, I ended up loving. Like, there's not a single character that I'm like, I could do without you. I loved this whole group, the level of chaos that they went through on this heist. So it's basically about 6 misfits going on the ultimate heist of a lifetime. It had me laughing. Like, I was not expecting humor in it. I was expecting it to just be dark, but some of these characters are just so funny. And the fact that all of these like 17-year-olds are just totally pulling off something that all of the other rival gangs couldn't do. This plan, although it is so clever and cunning, is quite silly, and it just ended up working. I really, really loved it. I would highly recommend it. There's no spice, but there is a lot of content that you might want to check the trigger warnings for, but I absolutely loved this book. It was my favorite read of the month, and I would definitely highly recommend you guys read it. And we're ending off this video on a negative note. I'm so sorry, I hate to do that, but I got this as an ARC, although this is available. It's been available for a long time. I was just really, really behind on reading the ARC that I got sent. It is Collide. I just really wanted to read a hockey romance. I was in the mood for that, so I picked this one up. It started off okay, but then I was like, no, no. I just think college romances are not for me. They have way too much drinking and spice for my personal preference, and I was willing to look past it for a little bit because I was like, maybe we're gonna go somewhere, maybe we're gonna evolve, but it was kind of just too lusty. All of that aside, I just didn't like the female main character. I felt like she is just really grumpy, but like she doesn't have a reason to be grumpy, and it was borderline, you're just being a horrible person. You're not actually grumpy for a reason, like you're actually just kind of a crappy person. She was angry at the male main character because their first initial meeting, he was pretty rude to her, and I was like, okay, I get it. You can have, you know, a little bit of beef with somebody, they were rude to you, but let's get over it. They try to make something happen, and then it does, and then he is a gentleman. Like, they're in the car and things are like escalating, and he's like, no, I don't want, you know, our first time to be in my truck. And she just gets so mad at him and is like, no, like, why are you trying to be a gentleman right now? And I'm like, girl, you were mad at him for being a butthead, and now he's being a nice guy, and you're mad at him because you essentially want to use him because you're in the mood. I was like, nah, I'm DNFing. So I DNF'd it. I couldn't root for the male main character because he was with other women in the book, and it's like, how can you have a solid relationship if neither of you are solid yourselves? He was using women, and she ended up wanting to kind of use him, and I was just like, this is just not for me. It gave me similar vibes to Icebreaker, and I gave that one 2 stars. I didn't DNF that one because I was in a phase where I wouldn't DNF anything because I was like, you never know, like it could come around, but I regret it, and I wish I DNF'd that, and I was getting the same vibes from this book, so I DNF'd that, and I feel happy with that. I gave that one a 2.5, and I rated it 4 spicy peppers. If you guys enjoyed Icebreaker, chances are you will enjoy this book, but I didn't like Icebreaker and I didn't like this book, unfortunately. I hate to leave off on a bad note, but like I said at the start of this video, I'm like 90% through the audiobook of the 3rd book in the Kiss of Deception trilogy, and that's probably going to be like a 4.5 star, depending on how it ends, possibly possibly a 5-star because I'm just eating that book up and I am really enjoying it. So we could end on a good note there because I will be finishing that one super soon. But that is it. Those are the 6-ish books that I read in February. Before you guys leave, definitely let me know which books you guys read in February, which ones were your favorite, and also make sure to click the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I pray you have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!